Hello and welcome back to Patrulek's channel. Today we'll be talking about prompt engineering. We'll look at what prompt engineering is and how to write good prompts. I'm sure you know why we need to write good prompts. So today's topic is, before we get into what is prompt engineering, let me define a scenario or a situation. So I have a very good friend of mine. His name is Golu. And Golu is very knowledgeable uh, in restaurants. He knows every restaurant around the world, its specialities, and you know, everything about the restaurants. I live in Scottsdale, and on a business trip, I am in Vegas right now. One night, I text my friend Golu, "What should I eat?" And Golu responds back saying, "Dinner." So I ask, "What should I eat?" And Golu responds back saying, "Dinner." Of course, I won't be eating breakfast at 7:30 p.m. But yeah, this is what Golu responds back with. And then I say, "Where should I dine?" And Golu says, "Around the corner of Tatum and Bell, there is this Arizona Burgers." So this is what Golu says. I ask, "Where should I dine?" And Golu's response is this: "Around the corner of Tatum and Bell, Arizona Burgers." And then I tell Golu, "Wait, I am in Vegas now." And Golu says, "Okay, so why don't you go to Devil's Kitchen?" This is, I believe, Gordon Ramsay's very famous restaurant, Devil's Kitchen. So Golu is suggesting me to go there. And then I say, "No, I am with a client and she is vegan." So what you're seeing here is Golu is giving me right responses every time, but they're not useful for me. So now what I should have done, I should have told Golu that, "Golu, I need suggestion for a restaurant. Right now, I am in Vegas. I am with a client. She is vegan. So I need a vegan restaurant, or at least a restaurant that serves vegan food. And I should also specify other things if I need. Say, for example, if it is going to be a business discussion kind of thing, I need a quieter place, a relatively quieter place with a formal ambience, right? So if I give all that information to Golu at the first instance, Golu would have given me, a good restaurant choice that I am looking for. In this very same way, prompt engineering works. So if you do not give a context to the LLM, the LLM doesn't know what to give back. So it will give you, most probably it will give you right responses, but that right response might not be useful for you, or not the response that you are looking for. So that is why you should always write the right prompts, or you should know how to write those prompts. Now, typically what we do is we break down the prompt into three parts. The first one, the actor part or the persona. So you tell, in this first part, you tell the LLM that you have to act like this persona. Say, for example, act like a sixth grader physics teacher, or act as a business lawyer specializing in a particular thing. You ask LLM to assume a persona or get into a specific role. In the second part, you set the context. So in this part, you explain, you give some background. Now, with this background, LLM will give you better responses. It knows why you are asking a particular question or what are you trying to do. And then is your actual question or your whatever you need, right? So in the example, Golu's example, we did not set persona there because we were saying that Golu is knowledgeable in restaurants, but your LLM is knowledgeable on everything. That is why we want you to set the persona. So in this example, if I'm asking LLM, I would say that you are an expert in restaurants, or might be you are an expert in restaurants in Vegas, and I want you to act as my whatever secretary or my concierge help desk and help me decide a restaurant. Then I will give the context saying it is a business casual, a business or casual, or whatever type of dinner that I'm having. What are my food preferences? Like the other person is a vegan. If I need more options for salads or more options for desserts, I can specify all those things. But in the context, I will set that it should be a vegan restaurant. It should be in X miles radius from this location. Uh, the timings, the ambience, and all those things. We give set that context, and then we ask the question. Suggest me two or three such restaurants. So these are the three things which are there in the prompt, and that is how you write good prompts. Now, some tips and tricks to write good prompts. You might have heard or seen people, trying the LLMs with math questions, saying, okay, it is not able to add 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 and so on, right? So while LLMs are not designed to do that, but people are still trying it, and no harm in trying that. Um, Now, if you have one such thing where it needs a succession of things to be done step by step, you can actually put that in the prompt, saying, go step by step. So there are things like you can use phrases like take a deep breath. So this works very well. So when you're using this phrase, it it sends a message to LLM to kind of rethink, go slow, do the proper due diligence, and then respond, right? So things like take a deep breath, although it has no meaning in terms of a machine, but now since these machines are acting like human beings, this particular sentence gives a similar kind of vibe to the machine. Just like if you were saying that to somebody, take a deep breath and then do this. So it's a very similar thing, and you can use it in many of your prompts. Or things like go step by step, or think twice before answering, or before answering me, revisit your response, or things like that. So you can do all these things, and then even if it is a complex thing that ideally you do step by step, you are actually asking the LLM also to go do it step by step. And in fact, you can tell LLM in the prompt itself that do go step by step and show me all the calculations, or show me all the uh, things that you're doing in each step, right? So this kind of thing is called chain of thoughts. Basically what you are doing through this prompt engineering is you are asking LLM to form a chain of thought and solve the problem. There's another concept called tree of thoughts. What this tree of thoughts is, in tree of thoughts, think of it as the name suggests. It's a tree. So many times, what happens is for some complex problems, there is this problem that you have to solve, and it's a complex problem. You start thinking about multiple ways to solve it, and then you keep going to different paths and then suddenly you find that no, this is not a path, so you backtrack, right? And you start working on other paths and those kind of things, right? And finally you will be like, okay, this is one solution and this is one solution, the rest were dead ends and we did not find a solution. So we do it this way for really complex things, right? We can have and that is what is called tree of thoughts, and even in LLMs we can do something like that. How do we do that? In some of the prompts you can say that, this is my problem, now go and explore 5 different methods to solve it, or 5 different solutions for this. And you can also say things like, okay, now once you have all the responses, compare and contrast, and then bring out the best one or the 2 best one, and show those two to me, and show me the compare and contrast as to how which one is better. And then help me, and then take my inputs. I'll provide inputs at that point. And when I'm done providing my inputs, that is when you decide which is the best one, and we'll go with that. So those kind of things you can say is like tree of thoughts. Again, you can do those kind of promptings, and the LLM will now go into that mode. And either you can chain your thoughts, or you can create a tree of thoughts. And all these things are actually advanced prompt engineering, so that you can have the LLM do whatever you want it to do. So it is no more just pattern matching. You are forcing, or you are guiding the LLM to think like human, and help you with the complex problems. You might have heard of zero shot, few shot, and many shot prompting, right? So zero shot, few shot, and multi shot. What are these? In this zero shot prompting, we do not give any examples in the prompt. The prompt is straightforward, a question. Convert this into Spanish. Hello, how are you? So I'm asking the LLM to convert that into Spanish. The same thing, if I go to few shot, what I do is I enhance my prompt and I give it some examples. So I say, okay, um, convert this into Spanish. Hello, how are you? And here are some examples. And then I give it 10 sentences, 10 English sentences, and its Spanish translations. Now, with that, a few short or few examples, the translation, or the way LLM works, gets much better. And it also looks at the format and a specific way you are writing those things, and it tries to follow that. Now, in this example, what can be those kind of traits that it gets from the examples? It might look for, are you using simple words, or you're using complex words? Or is it a specific dialect in Spanish? I don't know if that exists, but if is it a specific dialect in Spanish that you are following? Is it very formal, or is it casual? Are you using slangs, or you're not using any kind of slangs? So it will look at the examples, and then it will try to copy that in while responding. So that is few shot. In multi shot, you give a lot of examples, and with all those examples, it learns, and then you get a response which is very much what you wanted. Now, how big your prompts can be, that is governed by something called context window. Okay, so there is something called context window, and this context window size determines how long your prompt can be. Say for example, GPT-3, it had 4K. Now again, GPT-3 also had multiple variations. So one of those plain GPT-3 versions had 4K tokens as its context window. Now 4K tokens is roughly, you can say, 6 pages of text. So kind of 6 pages is what you could pass as a prompt to GPT. In GPT-4, this token size actually went to 8K. And then again, there are multiple versions. There are some 4K versions also in GPT-4. And there are some 128K versions also. So it's like 8K is roughly 12 pages. And if you go to 128K, that is somewhere around 200 pages. So this is like 12 pages. So it's kind of, with the newer versions, this context window is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Now, what is the use of this big context window? You just saw. The richer your prompt is, the better your response is. So this was about zero shot, few shot, and multi shot. There's another thing that you can control in your LLMs, and that is temperature. Okay? So what is this temperature in case of LLMs? If the temperature is low, that means it will whatever response LLM is giving you will be based on facts. It will be very close to facts. It won't use a lot of its creativity. But if the temperature is high, if you are keeping the temperature as high, and this is configurable, you can configure it. If you're keeping the temperature high, it's very creative. So when you're asking it to write a story, keep the temperature high. When you're asking it for some science facts, keep the temperature low. So says, for example, 0.2, and this one is 0.8 or 0.9. Right? So that is about temperature, which is one of the settings that you should always use. Now, what about the response? So when you are getting the response, I said, the context window is growing. So this is not just the input window, it is also the output. Although the max token size for input and output might be different. So check that before using the model, so that what is the context window and what is the max token size you are dealing with. Now, suppose the output window or output max token size is 4K, which is 6 pages, and you are asking it a question which need not be 6 pages long. It will not always give you 6 pages. That's the max count, max token size. But what if it gives you 1 page worth of information, or the response is 1 page, and you don't need that big response? You can limit it. So either you can say limit it to X number of tokens, or you can even write something like limit the response in 50 words. Now that will not be a hard and fast cap on it. When you use words, if you're using tokens, they are much more closer, but we think in terms of words, so it's fine. You can just say that, limit the response in x number of words, and then go and check. Might be it has given you something more or something less. Even something more might be possible, even if you're specifying it to that max count. Now, there are other things that you can do in the prompting. You can specify specific inclusions and exclusions. Say, for example, you do not want something that you're expecting that GPT or LLM will give you. You want to exclude that, so you can mention that in the prompt. Okay, so give me all the restaurants in um, this Scottsdale, excluding the restaurants in downtown, or something like that. So you can do those kind of things. So inclusion and exclusion, and then you have this concept of RAG, retrieval augmented generation, which we did discuss in details in one of the videos. So you can have something similar to RAG in your prompt also. You can say that, give me the stock prices and get the prices from a particular website or a particular market or stock exchange, right? So in that case, what you're asking it to do is you're forcing or you're instructing LLM to go to a specific place and fetch that data, right? So you can do that also to some extent in the prompts. You can also ask it to support its response by giving some citations. Now, again, it might sometimes give you some wrong citations as well. Although every day when I go and look for those things, I see it's getting better and better. The citations that I'm currently getting in GPT-4 are pretty accurate. I would say more than 90% or more than 95% accurate. So you can ask it for citations. Like you ask it to do some research online, and it gave you the responses with citations. Now, if it is with citations, you can click those links and go and see if the data that LLM got for you was actually from that website or not, and if that is trustworthy or not. Again, you can specify things like, okay, restrict your research to these 5 websites or only to trusted websites. Right? So you can do all those kind of things and make your prompt better. And the better your prompt is, the better your response will be, and that's going to help you. This is all I wanted to talk about in this session. Now, if you are working in a specific domain, say you are a product owner working in finance domain, and you want some help in getting started with prompt engineering, mention that in the comment. I will connect with you personally, and I'll help you get started. And that is not just for a product owner in finance domain. You are working in any domain, just hit me, and I will try to connect with you and help you. And in fact, um, the easiest help in prompt engineering is you can ask chat GPT itself to act as the prompt engineer. So the role that we were the persona that we were talking about earlier in this lecture, you can ask GPT itself saying, act as a prompt engineer uh, specializing in a particular domain, and then help me do this, or write a prompt for this, and it will give you a prompt, and then you can edit that prompt as per your specific requirement, and then fire that prompt. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you again in the next video. Do not forget to subscribe and like. Thank you.